Maria, welcome to my channel Planners in Practice. Today we are talking about overthinking and how planning can help us get rid of it or at least minimize it significantly. In this video I'll show you the 3 things that made the biggest difference for me, and that's how to get everything out of your head, how to plan your week, and finally how to move through the week in execution mode rather than constantly having to make decisions. Here's what worked for me, and I hope you find something useful for yourself too. If you also tend to overthink a lot, the reason might be just that things are still spinning around only in your head. And that's where planning can help. What helped me stop that constant mental loop was weekly planning. Let's start with the first step, and that's getting everything out of your head. Offloading everything helps because it enables you to see what you need to do next, and action is actually the antidote of overthinking. There's this famous interview of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, who talks about stress being actually caused by things that we have control over but probably we haven't taken action to relieve it. And for me, I found it's absolutely the same with overthinking. Even if I don't have a solution for something, as soon as I've identified the first step that I need to make and I start working on it, it helps me, and it hasn't been solved, but still I'm calmer and I just keep going with it. It also creates mental space. Once everything is not spinning around in your head constantly, then it's much easier to think clearly. And finally, it gives me a sense of relief that I have everything in a single hub where I know it's not gonna be forgotten or lost. Everything is there, and when the time comes, I can sift through and organize it. And that brings us nicely to the second point, which is having a weekly planning slot. This has been the most helpful thing for me personally. Starting the week with a plan really helps me feel more on top of things because I'm not reacting to everything as it happens, even though there is that element as well. But once I've sat down and thought about what are the things I want to get done, and I have an idea, I have decided what those are for this specific week, I feel much more in control of what's happening, and I'm able to pivot as I go, because that's always needed, but still I do most of the time manage to get the most important things done, which is the whole point. What weekly planning allows me to do is to sit back and when I'm not too pressured and just think about the things that really matter to me that week. What is really important? It might not be urgent at all. For example, I've been wanting to make this arts project with my son with polymer clay that I bought months ago, and I never get to it. And I was thinking about it the other day, and in my weekly planning it's the first thing I wrote down, and I know that I'm gonna get it done this week because now it's there, I can see it, I'll be reminded of it. And it's these kind of things that are not necessarily having a deadline, but they are important and I want to get them done. Planning has been the single thing that enabled me to start doing them. And it's not perfect all the time, but it's so much better versus when I'm not doing it. Finally, having a weekly session enables me to decide once and know that I'm doing it in the right state of mind. It's like when you're pre-planning your healthy meals versus when you're already hungry and scrambling around, you're much more likely to grab something unhealthy because you're already tired, you just want to have a snack. Same thing with planning. When I pre-plan the week, I'm much more likely to do the right things versus just react to what's urgent and popping up day by day, which happens all the time. Finally, the third thing, once the week starts, trying to go in execution mode as much as possible. Obviously, things will come up that were unexpected, unplanned, but trying to stick to the plan and having something to dive straight into versus scrambling around, deciding what matters, what needs to get done. If you start the week having already pre-decided, I found it's so much easier to just follow the plan as much as possible. And whenever life throws us something new, obviously we adapt and change, but having that baseline still, I found super helpful. There's something about having that clear next step that helps me keep my peace of mind and just go with it. Those are my 3 key tips that help me minimize overthinking for myself. Let me know in the comments if you want to try any of these and how's that working out for you. I'd love to hear more about your experience. I hope you found something useful and see you in the next one. Bye!